Okay, guys, go find your seats, and don't forget to tip. Hey, we're doing it. All right. We are doing the GoGo Show, guys.
All right.
Yes, we are.
Yes, I am Anna Lucero. Sommer Austin is my co-host.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. Guys, tech is hard, but we are making it work. So thank you so much for watching the GoGo Show and tuning in with us. This is an extra exciting show because on Monday, it will be our 10th anniversary of the Lincoln Loft.
Whoa.
So yeah, this is kind of like the only way we can celebrate, except for when we inevitably do shots of Malort on Monday. But this is the real celebration with our favorite, longest running show. So thank you so much for watching. Sommer, would you like to introduce our special guests?
Yes, our very special guests tonight are Jamie and Ron, everybody, our designated audience members.
Hey. Yay. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, and they're just funny people and like just amazingly talented, like artists. I mean, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Sommer, stop.
And we know you in real life. I mean, I know you in real life, or knew you in real life.
Yeah, not just over Zoom.
And I think every single one of our performers I've only met over Zoom. So this is also really cool.
Yay.
Hey, so Anna.
Yeah.
Jokes.
I mean, why the fuck not? Yeah, let's do it. Oh my goodness. I've been spotlighted. That means it's time for me to be funny. I'm so excited. I have become fucking unhinged because of, the everything. And I'm sure you guys can totally relate to that. I have this weird impulse whenever I get into this state of mind where I suddenly feel the urge to pierce my face. I want to pierce my face so badly. It feels very urgent. I feel like Sommer understands this. She got a celebratory septum piercing, so she gets it. I want to put a hole in my face so badly. I have done it twice. Let's see. The first time was like right after college, right before I moved to Chicago. I went to the beach with my friends and I had the brilliant idea to do like a friendship piercing party at the boardwalk. Because there's no better way to signify your friendship and remember each other than with piercings. This was a long time ago, but photographs did exist, so I did not need to do that. So I got a piercing right here, and there was a big falling out with me and my family. It didn't go great. My mother is a Mexican-American woman, so she's not afraid to bring baby Jesus into conflict. I don't know why grown-up Jesus can't come, but baby Jesus will come. And my mom comes from a long line of people who just can hold a grudge forever. So she didn't speak to me for the 2 months before I moved out. It was rough. So when I got to Chicago, turns out a piercing that you get on the boardwalk, not a good piercing. So I had to take it out. After all that, I was piercingless. So I got worked up for another one. And I went to cosmetology school. I dyed my hair black. I had little baby bangs, and I got a Monroe piercing.
You did.
This was like around 2006 or 7. Okay. So we were all going down in an earlier round, and Sugar, we were going down swinging. Okay. We all had a loaded God complex, cock it and pull it. So this was a good look at the time. Turns out with a Monroe piercing and my big teeth, I had this issue where when I was being intimate with a gentleman in a way where one might cover their teeth, I would get the back of it stuck on my tooth. I have like a Bell's palsy situation. It was bad. It was a bad sitch. So yeah, I would have to come up for air and like unhook my piercing. So didn't keep that one. And then this time I was like looking in the mirror and I was like, okay, what part of my face am I going to pierce? What's going to look right on me? And I really like saw myself like the way other people see me for a second. And for those of you that haven't seen all of me, I am a big gal. I'm a fat gal. I've got huge tits and I've got a really big ass, and I'm always overdressed for every occasion. Combine that with my bangs and my kooky glasses. Okay. Add a piercing somewhere in here. Right? That's a very specific look. And I realized that everybody would think that I do burlesque. It was so real. I just like zoomed out for a second and I was like, oh shit. And not like casually doing burlesque, right? Like I have my own burlesque troupe called Windy City Titties. And you know, we're a 501c3 because we do outreach where we go to homes for the aged and we teach the old gals how to do a little sexy shimmy, little shoulder roll, right? Keep up the agility. We're doing good work, right? Just one hole in the face and I'm a totally different person. And like no shade to people that want to take off their clothes for entertainment or money or whatever. As long as everyone's consenting, take your goddamn clothes off, do what you want. But I also know that like burlesque has like a really cool community. Everyone's like really like excited to be there and be doing burlesque. And there's like this historical component. Very cool. It does also have the unique distinction of making boobies boring. So that's not something I want to participate in. The boobies are kind of all I got. So I need them to really shine. Yeah, I also don't know that I would be a good asset to the burlesque community. Like, you know, you always have to like bring your friends to shows. So I think I've used up my goodwill on improv, sketch comedy, and now stand up. Plus, I take my tits out at all the wrong times anyway. So I feel like my friends are not going to want to go to a show to watch me take them out slowly when they've seen them just fly out willy-nilly. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to be putting a hole in my face because I don't want to mislead the people. So I do want to say thank you to all of my pals who are watching from home. Thank you for watching. I promise I will not take up any new artistic endeavors that you have to watch. All right. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I want to introduce my co-host, Sommer Austin.
All right, let me just spotlight myself. Here we go. All right, thanks everybody. Give it up for Anna. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yes, as Anna mentioned, I do have a septum piercing. It was a celebratory piercing. I did get it when I separated and my marriage was over. When my marriage was over, this was my new ring. So yeah, it is sad because I really was looking forward to growing old with him, you know, and watching him die, and burying him in the earth. So I am online dating now, which I find is really easy because I'm an actor. I've been pretending to look like an old picture of myself for the last 15 years. I am in my 40s, and I did know about the under eyes sagging. For those of us who are getting a little older, I did know about the boob sagging, but my mother, she never told me about the vaginal or like the labial sagging, if you will. Yeah, it's starting to happen already. I was surprised. So last night in the shower, I was washing my down there, and I thought, why is there an octopus underneath me? I didn't subscribe to Dropbox. What is this? It's like, look, why do I need to see My Octopus Teacher on Netflix when I have my own friendly octopus right here? Who can teach me about how cruel Mother Nature can be? If I want to know about death and dying, it's right here through my legs. The butt also sags and does some other weird things. My butt has dropped so low that it's like the setting for Fraggle Rock. Out there, my butt definitely looks like a Jim Henson creation. It's a doozer. Fraggle Rock humor for some of you. Look, it's like, you know, it's like a Muppet. You're like, look at it move. Like, how does it do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. It's like an optical illusion. Actually, you don't need to know the Fraggles reference to know that one of the Fraggles names is Boober. This is true, Boober, right? We remember some of those. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but in the U.S., actually, that name was a legit name at one time. It's just that name never really took off the way that Dick and Testicula did. My body has a whole cast of creatures on them teaching me lessons. My butt doozer was like, when a fat cell is created, it never gets destroyed. There's a giant sunspot on my right arm, and this one's name is Crank, and Crank tells me, you should have worn sunscreen when you were 20. There is my deepest, darkest shame. And this is, for some of you who are watching may know, the middle-aged beehole. Some of you may be familiar. And she is my secret friend that nobody sees but me. She is bloated, angry, and she looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. If you remember Garbage Pail Kid? Yeah, they were like trading cards in the 80s that ripped off Cabbage Patch Kids, like whole look and everything. They got sued and everything. And every kid had like a gross affliction that went along with it. Like Billy Blast and the top of his head was blown off, right? My beehole's name is Protrudy. That's and Protrudy's lesson is, look at me! You should have just had the kid, because if you did, your asshole would still look like this, but then you'd have a baby who could at least be your friend right now. Right now, we're all you got. And I'm like, good to know. I love you, Body Monsters. Thank you so much for your teaching. There's one last thing I'd like to leave you with, and this is that your bush starts to go gray. And this is weird because, okay, my hair looks like this, so it's like you could dye it, right? Or just shave it off. Like, that's the option I feel like you should do, right? Even if you've never done that before. So now my hoo-ha's bald as a pie down there, as one of my some friends today who was shaving it back in the early aughts like a boss, right? My hoo-ha is as fresh torn as Sigourney Weaver's head and Alien 3. Demi Moore's head and G.I. Jane. My hoo-ha is now the plot point in a Ridley Scott film. So, and for those who are like, whatever, Ridley Scott directed Alien 1, not Alien 3, and David Fincher directed Alien 3, I would say, nerd alert, be my boyfriend, okay? My hoo-ha is like Alien 3 3 and G.I. Jane, the numbers at the box office are low. G.I. Jane and Alien 3, rarely seen by anyone, but those who have seen it are disappointed. All right, that's Summer. Let me next comedian to the screen. She has been entertaining crowds since 2017. She graduated from the Second City, and when she's not teaching her daughter to be a better person, you can find her arguing with Alexa. Please welcome Rosani Christy.
So I don't get it. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. We've had COVID. COVID's been happening for 1 year, and still people don't understand how to social distance. But I get livid when I see people walking too close, you know? I just scream at them. 6 feet away or 6 feet under, losers. And one of them took off her mask. She had the audacity to yell back, "You don't really mean that, do you, Mom?" I do. Especially you know, like you're not in my bubble, not yet. But I'm telling you, brown people have no filter. You know, it's not easy. It's not hard for them to tell me, "You look fat, color your grays, your head's getting big." And that was just this morning video call with my dad. My wheelchair scares adults, but kids are fascinated by it. They want to know everything. Like just yesterday, I got cornered by this kid. He wanted to know, "Will you ever walk again? Can I get a ride? And where do babies come from?" And his mom had to intervene and say, "Stop it, Josh. Leave the kind lady alone." So I was like, no, I'm not kind. I recently had an STD scare. My doctor called me and told me, "You have trichomoniasis." I was like, "Tricho what? Trichomoniasis. What is it? How can I get it? Did I get it from a toilet seat?" She said, "No, you got it from a cheating husband." Like, what? She proceeded to question me. "Does your husband come home every night?" "Yes." "Are you guys having problems?" "No." "Does he have a girlfriend?" "No." Then you've got the immaculate infection. And I wanted to sue her for pain and suffering, because not for 1 second did she think it could have been me. Don't let my wheels fool you. I get around. I'm in an interabled relationship. So I'm in a wheelchair. My husband's able-bodied. So, you know, like I'm in it for the diaper changes. He's in it for the free parking. Or he pushes me around in public. I push him around in private. But, you know, my friends want to know, how do you fight with your husband if he's your caregiver? And I go, you know what? It's hard, but you got to do what you got to do, right? So when he pisses me off, I have a tall glass of milk and let him deal with the mess, because I'm lactose intolerant. He'll hate my guts for a few days, but then he's okay again. But before that, the pandemic was doing wonders for our relationship. I mean, we were getting so close. We were growing together, growing plants, growing beards. It was so cute. I'd go in for a kiss and he'd say, "Stop it, it tickles." It was a turn on. And I even got to say, "Who's your daddy?" But I have multiple sclerosis, which is why I'm in the chair. So when I have some problems with my nerves, which means that sometimes I don't feel things. I mean, I could be getting burned, I wouldn't know. I could get bruised and wouldn't know. I could have an orgasm and not feel, like admitting it, because one and done doesn't work for me. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign out. Rosani Christy, everybody.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yay, that was great. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next comedian, what happened there? Did I have a stroke? Okay, back to one. Our next comedian is a Toronto-based gal. She co-produces and co-hosts. Kelly and Des host a booked mic, and she is a wannabe spokeswoman for Uncrustables. Please welcome to the screen, Desirée Walsh.
Hello. Yes, it is true. I am Canadian. There's no joke there at this point. It's still more of a humble brag, but I am rooting for you, America. I really, really am. And I've had the privilege of doing some of these Zoom shows and mics with many Americans, and I really, really like it because I'm learning so much about your country. It's been great. For example, did you all know that New Jersey is a state? Because I certainly didn't. For most of my life, I thought it was a suburb of New York. Yeah, turns out I was getting it mixed up with Staten Island. Yeah, I don't know very much about Staten Island, so I decided to Google it, and a tourism website with 13 interesting facts about Staten Island came up. And the best one, the most flattering on the list, was that they have the largest garbage dump in the U.S. Isn't the garbage something we're supposed to be hiding from the tourists? I'm from Toronto, and on our tourism websites, we talk about the lake and the Sky Dome and the CN Tower. And I'm not going to tell you what any of those things are because you'll have to come visit us. But we leave out the negative. Like, there's a bit of a homeless person issue. There's no affordable housing. It's not very wheelchair accessible. And we're kind of mean for a Canadian city. Like, other Canadian cities don't like us, but you should come see us. I'm also learning about the food in America, mainly something called the Uncrustable. Yeah. We don't have these abominations in Canada. So I've never actually had one. But I'm told it's like the white trash cousin of the Pop-Tart or the redheaded stepchild of the Pizza Pocket. And America, like, wouldn't it be easier to make a peanut butter sandwich? Because with an Uncrustable, you have to thaw it and cook it and then eat it. And it just seems like a lot of work. Yeah. I did this joke and another comedian was like, no, like, you don't have to thaw it or cook it. Just eat it frozen. And now I have more questions than I have answers, America. Why are we paying money for the worst day of grade 2 when the ice pack fell on top of the sandwich and it got all cold and gross? Why are we paying money for that, America? I do not understand. And then another comedian was like, no, like, you don't eat it frozen. You just take it out of the freezer and let it thaw naturally. And now I have the question, is it a friend or is it food? What do you mean? You just take it out of the freezer, cuddle it, hold it close, sing it Tiny Dancer till desired temperature you need? These are my questions, and I actually finally got them answered because a American comic actually sent me some Uncrustables. If you take anything away from my set, take away Americans are very helpful. Yeah, so I got these Uncrustables. They were very much unthawed by the time they got to Canada. So they were really more food poisoning in a pouch now. But I pressed on, and I still have the same questions, America. Wouldn't it be easier to make a peanut butter sandwich? Because with an Uncrustable, you do have to thaw it. You don't have to cook it, but you have to fuss with that bag, like the plastic bag that was obviously made by NASA. It's so hard to open. And then I tried one frozen, and that's a good way to get a chipped tooth. If you do not like your symmetrical smile, have an Uncrustable frozen. What I'm I'm saying is I think Smuckers needs to be stopped between that and the goober grape. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about what's wrong with the US or what happened. And quite frankly, as a person who only discovered New Jersey was a state about 8 weeks ago, I don't believe I'm entitled to an opinion. But I think it started with the invention of the Uncrustable. The other thing I learned about the US while doing mics is the lexicon handicapped is still widely used in your country. This was a bit of a shock for me. I am disabled. I do use a wheelchair. You just can't see it because of Zoom. And in Canada, the word handicap's a bit of a slur. So we don't use it. So that was really interesting. And you shouldn't really use the word handicapped, not because it's ignorant, but because someone might hear you and think you are from the 1980s and then get all excited because you obviously have a time machine to escape 2021 and 2020 because it wasn't much better. So they will be disappointed when they discover you are just a dad with a trucker hat. You can still use the word crippled, but the problem with the word crippled is that only certain people can say it, and you often don't know if you're one of those people till well after it is out of your mouth, and then it is too late. Very awkward. On a personal note, I hate the term special needs, because it makes it sound like the disabled are asking for a bowl of green M&Ms. I am not asking for a bowl of green M&Ms. I want the same resources as the walkies. I want to be in the same spaces as the walkies without actually being a walkie, because that shit looks terrible. I do not know how you do it. Yeah. Walkie is the politically incorrect term for able-bodied, if you're wondering. Other things about me is I live in a wheelchair-accessible apartment. Walkies usually find that really fascinating. I still don't understand why, because what did you think? 3-floor walk-up? Yeah, I'm your girl. No, I live in a wheelchair-accessible apartment because I'm in a wheelchair, but it's not walkie accessible in that I don't have any chairs. And before COVID, I had one of you over and discovered that apparently it is rude and insensitive to offer you the toilet as a chair. And it does not matter if I bring in the laptop with the Netflix on it. I'm still a bad friend. And it also doesn't make a difference if I have retro snacks, Dunkaroos. I am still kind of an asshole and really need to check my privilege. Thank you. I've been Desirée Walsh. Have a good night.
All right. Give it up for Desirée, everybody.
Woo.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's keep this party rolling. I'm going to bring up our next comic coming to the stage. Originally from India, she is a Nashville comic. Her accomplishments include 1 failed marriage. Yes, we have something in common, with the goal of failing at a few more. Please welcome to your screen, Ritu Tirthani, everybody.
Woo.
Hello, hello. Hello, people from other countries and American citizens. How are you guys doing? Great, great. Yeah, I'm going to be a citizen soon. I'm on all the dating apps. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, people get drunk to forget that country music still exists. And in India, people get drunk to forget that they still live in that country. Being a comedian has made me realize I want to give up on being a vegetarian. 2 attention-seeking skills should not be in one person, right? I feel like I do a lot better on Zoom shows than on real shows. I think the reason is because I'm Indian and I'm naturally good at talking to computer screens, you know? This COVID isolated life has made me scared of death. I don't want to die. I'm worried if I die, who will take care of my Instagram account? Well, a little bit about me. I got divorced a few years ago. I think divorces are emotionally and financially hard, but I think it gets worse when you have a joint email account. You know, like Ron and Pemmy forever at Gmail. After divorce, I had a lot of free time, so I joined a book club. But I don't know why I joined a book club. I don't even like wine. Whenever I do this divorce joke, my mom is like, Ritu, stop doing divorce jokes and think of second marriage. I was like, Mom, I'm not ready yet. I still have some money left from my last husband. Oh, well, I'm actually back in American dating. I was stalking my ex the other day, or as Americans call it, looking for closure. I'm actually really trying to get over my ex. I went on a date last week and this guy was like, hey, I like you. Do you want to come over, watch Netflix and chill? I was like, I don't do Netflix and chill dates. I know what American men want. But if you have Amazon Prime, I'm up for casual sex. You guys cannot see me, but I'm 5'1". So if I go on a date with the taller guy, I wear heels. If I go on a date with a shorter guy, I wear flats. If I go on a date with the broke guy, I just don't show up. That's called power of three in a joke structure, just so you know. I'm new to American dating. I think a lot about my sexual fantasies. I have this wildest sexual fantasy to make love to an American man with no student loan debt. I know, that's going to be a fantasy for a while. I know. All right, well, these are dating jokes, but in reality, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm dating a guy in Columbia, Tennessee. I never thought I'll have to cross 3 Cracker Barrels to find love. This Columbia guy and I went on a date to an Asian restaurant and we ordered food. And the server is like, what would you prefer? And the guy looks at me and he's like, chopsticks for both of us. And I was like, I don't use chopsticks. I'm not the chopstick Asian. I'm the scam call Asian. Talking about dating and sex, though, we don't have sex education back in India, but I still somehow know how to fake it. Oh, well, who votes these dating jokes for good? Who votes these jokes for not good? Well, your votes naturally don't count. You're in America. I feel like I moved from India to America, so it feels like an upgrade in religious beliefs too. So I'm switching from Indian God to Jesus now. Because Indian gods are overweight. You guys have a good-looking, hot Jesus God. And also because I love unlimited bread and wine. I feel like this is going well, so I'm going to try a new joke. Okay, all right, let's do this. There are 1.3 billion people in India and 36 million gods. And you guys have 300 million people and one god. What does it tell you about Indians? We are good at math. I'm so sorry. I wanted to just try it. Right. Well, I'm an immigrant, right? I have a hard time making American friends. I think we're different. Like I don't have any food allergies. Like I prefer water without ice. The word ice scares the shit out of me. This joke used to kill when Trump was here. I kind of missed Trump. I don't like the way Indians are greeted in America. You know, if I see an American, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? But if an American meets me, he's like, oh my God, I love Indian food. Don't do that to us. From next time, if I see an American, I'll be like, oh my God, US healthcare sucks. I feel like you guys are loving the American jokes, so we'll keep those rolling. I think Americans are cool people, but you guys have some weird hobbies. Like your obsession with recycling. America, recycling makes you look poor. Please stop doing that. And then paying for running and calling it marathon. You guys know you can run for free, right? Just make it. And blessing people when they sneeze. Why this discrimination? Why not bless people when they fart? Why not? And trust me, Indian farts need blessings from Jesus. A comic said, hey, keep a balance between Indian and American jokes so they don't feel like they're the target. Hey, we all know who the target is, Mexicans, right? I can get away with that joke, people. That is called brown privilege. A lot of people talk about problems Indian women face, gender inequality, rape, and all that. Nobody talks about real problems that we face. Body hair. This guy I went on a date with, he said, you have beautiful hair. I said, wait till we explore each other's body. It's the same hair growth on the rest of the body. I have a question for you guys. Is anyone looking to buy brown parents? I'm selling mine. I called my mom last night and I was like, Mom, I'm really nervous. I have this show tomorrow. I don't think I'm funny. She said, I don't care if you're funny. When are you getting married? My parents have a basic common love story. My mom loves my dad and my dad loves alcohol. I'll end on this one. My dad is a big believer in karma. He said I got divorced because I made fun of someone's divorce. Well, I learned my lesson. I make fun of rich people now. I want to be rich. Actually, I like to be rich. I want to be rich so I can go gluten-free without any judgment. And that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ritu. Guys, it's the part of the show where I put on the hat and I beg you for money. If we were in the Lincoln Loft together, I would take this hat, I would give it to an audience member, you would pass it around, you would throw all this cash in here, and that would help us improve and renovate the space. Now, since we don't have anything like that happening, we're having a problem paying our rent. So if you guys have any extra dollars, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us a little Venmo donation. It's Venmo and the Lincoln Loft is the name. That would be so greatly appreciated. We bought a whole ass computer to do this show. I don't know if you know this, but computers are not free. They're not cheap. And they only sometimes work. So if you guys could be so generous as to give us a donation, that would be so greatly appreciated. Let me bring up our final comedian. All right, so she is originally from Ohio. Now she's in Southern California, and she has performed all over the place. She used to have a YouTube show called Tales from the Pole. Please welcome Erin Hart.
Hi. So I am from Ohio. I'm not from the classy part, like Cleveland directly, like where they tie up women. You have to go a little bit south past LeBron's house where the white trash and the Amish come together. It's a magical place. It is. It's funny living in California. I get very excited when I meet other people from Ohio, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're from Ohio, and I'm from Ohio," and then we have nothing else in common. I'm like, we're like two dogs smelling each other's butts. Yeah, it's Ohio. That's it. It is how weird I get about that. I still I always get disappointed, and then I'm like, another Ohioan, nothing. Ugh. But I don't pay attention a lot, and I tune in, I tune out. It's like an ADD thing. And these two issues get me in trouble sometimes, especially at comedy shows. And one night in particular, I was sitting in the back of a dark room at the Comedy Store in Hollywood, and there was a comic on stage, and he was talking about how his grandmother was in the Holocaust. And I tuned out. I was like, oh, another Holocaust. Okay. And because I was thinking about movies. And then he said, and my grandfather was a KKK member from Ohio. I heard Ohio, and I was like,
Oh,
everybody turned their head like, what? The waitress who's black, she's my friend. She turned her head. She's like, Erin, what are you doing? I was like, what? I heard Ohio. I grew up with learning disabilities, but it was in the 80s, so they weren't recognized. I learned later. I have dyslexia and ADD and things like that. But it's funny because back then they didn't, address it, and they just were like, oh, you're lazy, or you're dumb, or slutty. Maybe that's just me. And it's funny now because people think, like, I barely graduated high school and I was a stripper for many years, and I do nails now. And like, when I tell people I do comedy, they go, oh, you're smart. I'm like, yeah, let me rip off the mask. I just think it's funny. It's like, I'm fooling you. Oh, geez. Yeah, I have been doing in California. I guys are all over the place. You don't understand. California's been shut down. Like, I went back to Ohio during all this COVID stuff, and I was like, oh, they're open. Like, everything was open. Here in California, nothing was open. And in Ohio, everybody was bitching because the bars close at 10. I'm like, you have bars. Like, here we had nothing. And so I had to do illegal nails. And I was so paranoid. I was like walking through rich neighborhoods like, oh, are they going to see me? I have all my manicure stuff. It was so scary. And I felt like this, like drug pusher, like, I can do a manicure in the alley. I got some OPI red on me. Come on. I was like, what's happening? This is so weird. It was so weird. But I did, when I first started doing nails, I was getting out of stripping, and I thought, oh, finally something legit, something like not dirty and, this, and I was doing this older man's pedicure, and he had on short shorts, and I lifted one leg, and all of a sudden a ball, his testicle, fell out of his shorts. And I was like, what? And I was like, it was like one of those things you don't want to look, but you're like, wait, what is that? Is that a ball? It's kind of like if you know somebody well, like if they have something in their teeth, you're like, you got a little something here. But if you don't know them well, you're like, I don't know. Do you tell them? Do you not? It's like, and what do you do when their ball falls out? I'm like, I don't know. Do I tell you? I'm like, you got a little testicle hanging out there. It's actually touching my chair. It's weird. How do you clean your chair that had a ball touching it? You're like, I don't know. You're like, to the next guy, just come and sit down. There was a ball here. I don't know. It's just weird. But I stripped way past my prime. I did. I hung on to the pole like a life raft. I was like, I'm not leaving. And it wasn't until the manager's like prying my fingers, like, it's time to go. But I started stripping in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in 1994 because I was broke. And I stopped because COVID pushed me out of it. In Anaheim, right by Disney is where it all happened. Disney really, Anaheim is made up of pretty much Disneyland and strip clubs.
Oh my God.
It really, it's got some industrial stuff, but that's basically what it is. And I think that the strip clubs are there because a lot of men don't want to go to Disneyland or spend a week there with their family. They're like, you go on ahead. I'm going to stay back at the hotel. And really, they're like, off to the strip club. And I don't know if you guys know about, like, I have a best friend who's a Disney freak, and she knows everything about Disneyland. And there's these things called hidden Mickeys, and she likes to go around and count them. And what hidden Mickeys are, it's like, there will be barrels stacked up, and there will be like one big one with two little ones. It's like a Mickey. And then sorry, I was reading something. And then there will be like bricks in the ground with like a circle and 2 circles. And my friend likes to go, a hidden Mickey, 1. They like to count them. There's another one, 2. And what I like to do at the club is I would see a bald guy and I would walk up and I'd put my boobs right on his head. I'm like, boom, 3. I got another one right there. It's really, it's a good time to do that. And you guys, when you first start stripping, it's so exciting because you're usually in your 20s and you have firm boobs and you get to create a new character for yourself. Like I was into theater, so you have to create a character. And so I did this with stripping. I was like, oh, who am I going to be? I'm going to wear glitter and clear heels and pink, and I'm going to call myself Sparkles. And then, you know, there's always like the diamond and, you know, the sapphire, and it's always a jewel, ruby. And when I was in my 40s and still stripping during the day, because that's what happens, the DJ came up to me and he's like, what's your stage name again? I was like, Carol. Like, does it matter? It doesn't matter anymore. But it's true when you first start stripping, you are a night stripper basically. And then as you get old, it's really cool because they don't actually fire you if you get older or fat or anything like that. They just move you to day shift. They're like, try it out. But day strippers are kind of like, you know, Toy Story, the kid that lived next door, Sid, how he would like rip apart toys and piece them together. That's a day stripper. Piece together a broken toy. Like they'll hide in dark corners in groups at noon on Tuesday, and then the light of day, because the door opens and some guy walks in and this day stripper's like, they're like, do you want to dance? And they're like, no. And you go, not a lot of people in there at day. It's true. And also when you're on stage as a day stripper, you're older, so you have some flaws. Like there's some cellulite, there's some scars, things have happened, and it's dark in the strip club, so it's fine. But then when the door opens and there's a light, you try to hide on the stage. You're like, oh God, the light, it's coming. And you just try to get to the darkest part of the stage. And you just hang out there until the door closes. And then you're like, okay, I'm back. It's all good. And then thank you. When you first start too, you're on night shift and there's lots of like pull tricks and fun things to do. And like the fallen angel, you come down upside down off the pole. And it's really exciting. And then as a day stripper, you just get lazy and you're like, there's my pull trick. My boob sagged, so here it is. Lay some dollars around it. Anyways, guys, thank you. My name's Erin Hart. Thank you for having me. Give
it up for Erin, everybody. And for everyone that we've seen here today. Desirée, Ritu, Rosani, Anna, wonderful.
Sommer.
And our audience members, Jamie and Ron. Yay! And Adam, who's been doing tech for us. Thank you so much. Woo!
Adam, yay.
And for everyone who showed up to watch, thank you for being patient with us through our tech issues. And it was great to be here. We'll see you next month, everybody.
Hey, bye.
Bye.